And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly, truly fantastic day today.
I just read the room. It's like the AllStar Game. You read the room. It's a precedent that's set.
Can I say something, though? Y'all got to have a little more pride in that AllStar Game. I mean, look, it's not as if y'all don't play pickup during the summers.
Right.
So you know how to play in a way that, all right, I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to take anybody out. But that AllStar Game's it's broke, man.
Well, I mean,
like people just like not running, everybody just trying all kinds of.
Well, I'm not.
It used to be when Kobe and Michael and Isaiah, those guys were playing, man. I mean, they weren't playing the way they did regular season, but they wanted to win.
This sounds like a conversation with my pops right now. He's giving me the same speech.
It insults the game.
Well, all I said is my first AllStar Game, I came off the bench. So I'm just reading the room of what's going on, and I'm just going to adjust to whatever.
No, I agree, but everybody needs to be just like, all right.
We got to lock in better.
Lock in better.
Well, we had
because you're showing out. This is this is your business. This is your product. You don't want people thinking y'all out there just half-assed.
That's a good point. We had a full meeting before last year's AllStar Game.
And it didn't work.
It didn't work. Who came in? I'm so mad at myself. Larry Bird came in there and gave us a speech about taking it more serious.
Take it more seriously.
Could they change the stakes, though, in a real way? To do something to make it where it's like...
I mean, the problem is y'all get paid so much now. Although the in-season tournament turned out better than I expected.
Yeah.
All right, my people. So that was former President Barack Obama. And no matter where you fall in the political side of the spectrum, you cannot disagree with what he is saying about the All-Star Game, even though I would take it even further than the All-Star Game. But a couple of things I want to point out in this clip. First of all, Tyrese Haliburton is basically trying to cop out. Well, it's not a cop out because this is where these NBA players are. This is their mentality, all of them. And so he basically said, well, my first All-Star Game, I was coming off the bench and I was just kind of reading the room and matching the energy of what's going on, basically. And to me, this just shows you a lack of a leader mentality. This is the lack of a leader mentality because it really shouldn't matter what everybody else is doing. Because if you're a competitor, then your mentality is going to be, well, you're either going to match my energy or you're going to get demolished. That's the way it goes. That's how a leader thinks. It's like, I don't care what you're doing. I'm coming out here to compete. So if you don't compete with me, then I'm going to make you look like a fool out here. So that's the first thing. And I feel like we've heard kind of several players say something similar. Again, to me, that was like the first red flag with Anthony Edwards. Even before he got all the praise for, taking some accountability in the playoffs, which we quickly saw that Anthony Edwards is a clown. Let me go ahead and say that. Anthony Edwards is a clown. But that'll be his own video. But Anthony Edwards said something similar about the All-Star Game. It was like, well, guys don't really want to play hard. We kind of see this as a break. But again, it's kind of, instead of taking accountability for your part, you want to draw everybody else into it. It's like, no, again, there's not a scenario where you can make Michael Jordan not compete. Because Michael Jordan is a competitor. If you don't compete with him, then he's just going to make you look like a fool out there. So those are your options. You can compete or he's going to make you look like a fool. But yeah, so Tyrese Haliburton saying that statement, basically he just matches the energy. And I actually believe he actually said those words, but I don't think I played that part of the clip. But yeah, to me, that it just shows a lack of leadership. And this is kind of what I've been saying about this current generation, period, is that there's just lack of leaders in it. Not only in society, but in the NBA, which is a reflection of society. In the NBA, I can't think of anybody that comes to mind, and drop it in the comments if you think someone that you would classify as an actual leader. But that comes to my mind of the superstars in the league, no one comes to mind as far as being an actual leader. Even the players like I said, I'm a Steph Curry fan, but to me, if you're not checking Draymond for all that crap that he does, again, you're not a leader. And so yeah, no one comes to mind, and certainly not the Duck. I'm trying to think. Definitely not Kevin Durant. Anthony Edwards is turning out to be more talk than anything else. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, like I said, if you can think of somebody, please drop it in the comments. Not Giannis, not Joel Embiid, for sure. That'll be his own video. But yeah, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who I would say, okay, this guy is a leader. And I think that's very evident simply by what the AllStar Game looks like. When Kobe Bryant was still in the AllStar Game, he was checking LeBron for not going at people. He was getting on his case, as he should, because Kobe Bryant is a leader. And again, he's not going to let that stuff slide. But this is why the All-Star Games have been so trash, because there are no leaders. There is no one out there who's saying, hey, look, we can't do this. Like, we need to get out here and play. Or like I said, at the very least, someone who's going to go out there and lead by example, to say, hey, if you're not going to play, then you're going to get steamrolled. But anyway, so that's one thing. Like I said, that it just speaks to the lack of leadership in this generation, in the NBA as a whole. And then something else Obama said was like, hey, this is your product. Like, you're supposed to have a sense of pride about this. And again, I'm kind of at a loss for where the NBA has gotten to, just because, like I said, to me, this year has set a new low for the NBA. This whole fiasco with LeBron and Bronny and JJ Redick, this has literally set a new low standard for the NBA. It's been getting lower and lower since LeBron James has been in the NBA. But this has set a new low this year. We're going to laugh at it. And fanboys, you get in my comments as much as you want, because we actually enjoy laughing at you, because it's really hard to believe that there are people out there as ridiculous as yourselves. But yeah, just a new low standard with these guys making more money than ever. And, and then you heard Barack say, the problem is you guys are making so much money. And yeah, I agree that this is something Michael Jordan said, that Michael Jordan predicted what was going to happen. I believe it was on a clip on the Oprah show, Oprah Winfrey. And he said something to that effect. It's like, when you pay guys so much money, they're not going to be motivated to prove anything. And, this is the thing that I think with the modern NBA fanboys, let me tell you something about what your king represents with the face of the league and all the things that he has made okay in the NBA since he has been the face of the NBA, including super teams, including load managing and not playing 82 games and not participating in the dunk contest and turning the AllStar Game into the most ridiculous thing we have seen. And here's the fact of the matter with people like this, with the shortcut takers. I wholeheartedly believe that it was if it was completely up to the NBA players, they would simply play the playoffs each year. They would scrap the regular season completely. They would come back to practice probably two practices before the playoffs, and they would just play the playoffs each year while making the same amount of money that they make. I firmly believe that this is what they would do if the NBA players had their way. And this is a problem. And then the last thing I'm gonna say that I actually like about this clip is that he was directly confronting Tyrese Haliburton on these issues. I feel like a lot of, there's most of the time to get the truth, it's either gonna be YouTubers, like myself, like Sports and Fitness Rants, like Angry Old Hoops, like Michael Jordan fans are the best, like Phenomenal Fitness, like Retro Heat Check, like Brandon Love Sports, Ticket TV, 2 Raw, Dreamers Pro. It's usually gonna be YouTubers where you get the unfiltered truth. Because normally, if it's something that has to do in the circle of the NBA, that means the players and the media in that circle, normally, even if it's the truth, it's going to be sugar-coated to a certain extent. But what I like about this is Obama directly confronting him and saying, look, talking directly to him, like basically saying this is unacceptable. Like this is your product, And even though I would have really tried to drive home that point, and instead of letting Tyrese just kind of brush over it. Oh yeah, well, my dad used to tell me the same thing and blah, 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 blah. It's like, but at the end of the day, I feel like, part of it is these players get paid so much money, but then the other half of it is, like I said, they say money makes you more of who you are. And so to me, it's like the money is just exposing who these players are at their core. And that is, they're chasing the praise and the lifestyle. And once they got the goal of being in the NBA, once they signed that contract for a lot of money, then they felt like they had already made it, which exposes to me the fact, again, I've said this many times, that you cannot convince me, not only that these players are not competitors like they used to be, but these players do not love the game the same way players used to. They do not love the game of basketball like players used to. They do not take the game of basketball seriously. Again, fanboys, your king, it's just basketball. It's just basketball. That's what he said. He actually said that. So these players don't take the game with the same seriousness. And like I said, today we just live in an age where people are willing to make so many excuses, including the excuse that, well, that's just the time that we're living in, or times are different, or whatever it is. And yes, times are different, but just because times are different, that does not make fiction fact. Again, and it doesn't matter what you say, it's what you do. But today's modern NBA, these players, like I said, they know how to say all the correct things. Every time I hear LeBron James say something about how much of a competitor he is, or you have to cut his head off and bury him 6 feet deep for him to give up, it's like, that sounds good. LeBron, that sounds good. Actually, it doesn't sound good when you say it, because it sounds fake like everything else that you do. But the words sound good. You might think that you are convincing people that you are a competitor through your words, but the problem is your actions don't line up. So when people want to say that these players compete the same way that players used to, this is false. And you don't even have to look on the court for that. All you have to do is look at the many ways that they tried to avoid playing the game. The game that they so-called love, they are constantly looking for excuses to not play. This right here tells you that they are not competitively driven. That they don't love the game in the same way. But anyway, we're going to hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did you agree or disagree with Obama confronting Tyrese Haliburton and confronting the modern NBA players by saying, hey, look, this is your product. You're supposed to have a sense of pride about this. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day. And I'll see you next time. All right.